What is going on, guys? Politics Gaming here, and today we are doing episode 7 of the United States of America. In the previous episode, essentially what we had done is that we created an alliance with the Republic of China, otherwise known as Taiwan. And with Taiwan, basically what we are doing is that we are building a base in the Republic, and we are about 9 days from the completion of that base. So as soon as that base is completed, we are going to send troops over to the Republic, and that will give us a foothold on the island in the case of a Chinese invasion. And we are going to also expand some of our national assets within East Asia, including in South Korea, Japan, and we're also going to try to expand to Southeast Asia, including the Republic of Indonesia. So that is the plan for East Asia within this episode. Hopefully we can get it done, and if we don't, then we're gonna shoot it for next episode. But also what we are going to do is that we're going to make a couple of military moves within this episode. We're going to grab some ships from Japan, from Yokosuka base in Japan, south of Tokyo, and we're going to sail them near the Chinese waters, and we are going to show it's more of a position of strength for our Southeast Asian allies and our East Asian allies, and we are going to get that done within this episode. But first off, we need to go ahead and review our economy real quick. We have a 1% budget deficit right now. That is the historic low that we've seen it at since the surplus that the United States had back in the 1990s, and especially before the recession. And at least around that is the lowest it has been since before the Trump presidency. Obviously, if you do not know this, the Trump presidency actually expanded the US deficit, and the reason because of this was it was the Trump 2017 tax cuts. Beforehand, the deficit was around like $400 to $500 billion, and then after the Trump tax cuts came in, that actually expanded the deficit, and then COVID basically was a 1-2 punch on the US economy, not on the US deficit. So in the comments below, tell me your thoughts on the tax cuts. Do you think the tax cuts should be partially repealed as is being proposed by the Biden administration, or do you think that they should stay in which they are right now? So what we are going to do before we make these military moves, we are going to come over here to energy. We're going to build another power plant, but what we're also going to do is that we're going to give some subsidies over to the uranium industry. So we're going to give about $2.5 billion worth of subsidies over to the uranium industry, and then we are going to go over to nationalization. We're going to see how much of this we can nationalize. So we can nationalize this sector with state involvement as a minority shareholder. That would cost about $863 million. But if we nationalize it fully, that is going to cost us nearly $3 billion. So let's see if we can nationalize it fully. If we can, that will be amazing. We will not be able to do that, but we can do that with the TV address. So we're going to use the TV address to our advantage, and yes, that does work. We get the House of Representatives, 60% of the House to pass it, and then 58% of the Senate to pass it. Hopefully, again, we do grab control of the House of Representatives. We're actually going to be having an election probably next episode, if we can. So we are going to play April about to July in this episode. I'm going to try to start pumping out these episodes a lot quicker than I have been making them. We have only been doing them once a week. I'm going to try to shoot for twice a week, so hopefully we do that in the future. Pretty good relations with Mexico, so let's go ahead and assemble some ships right over here. Let's go ahead and grab them. So we're gonna assemble them off of the coast of Japan. 9 ships there. then we're going to grab that fleet of ships. We're going to send them into Taiwanese waters and then send them down into this lovely area right here. So it'll be a freedom of the seas navigation, and then that will essentially allow us to challenge Chinese aggression within the South China Sea. So we already have satellites right over Taiwan, or not Taiwan, southern China, around where Hong Kong is. So we need to study the military assets that they have in this area over here. Let's go ahead and see what they got at this air base north of Hong Kong. So they have 52 commandos, 16 helicopters, 62 fighters, and then let's look right here. 53, and then one more. So we're gonna study the Guangdong region. We also have another one, so we're gonna get as many satellites over Chinese assets as we can. So instead of that, we're actually going to go up to this military base up in Jiangxi. What do you got? So we've got 56,000 troops right there. That is
Our
amazing.
governmental cell
informs me, so let's go ahead and take up that opportunity. Risen from 3% to 4%. Overall, the results are very good.
Our agents that have infiltrated.
Let's go ahead and accept that offer to fight terrorists. So again, we have about 3 days now. So we're almost done, and then... Alright, just about time as we mobilize our military. Let's go ahead and mobilize it now.
We are going to attack the...
We're going to see... One Japanese person has been killed. What did they attack? What did they attack? We don't know what they attacked yet. Our base is almost done. It's just about time. Conflict could come to an end very soon, but...
The very first Hyperloop line opened yesterday with great fanfare. Its top recorded speed reached 1,200 kilometers per hour. The Minister of Transportation was pleased with this achievement, stating that this mode of transportation was as simple to use as a subway, with shuttles leaving every 20 minutes, faster than a high-speed train, environmentally friendly and low noise. However, tickets remain very expensive at this point and seem to be purchased exclusively by well-to-do clientele or the rushed businessman.
If more Japanese troops lose their lives during this conflict, then we will strike back against the North Koreans, but the fighting seems to be pretty level-headed, actually. The fighting has stopped. The fighting has stopped, so that conflict has come to a close, but we will keep the troops that we have. See now that all of these troops are heading toward East Asia. We will keep those troops there, and we will actually send 10,000 troops from Grafton to Richardson. 20,000, 25,000, 6,000. So that is going toward Taiwan. 10,000 heading toward Taiwan. So again, we're about to have 100,000 on the Korean Peninsula, so that may have scared the North Koreans off. We'd actually How many do we have at bond steel? Yeah, 10,000. Let's go ahead and send those to Kuwait. How many do we have in Afghanistan? We have 4,000 troops in Afghanistan. So we have the possibility of increasing our troops to Fort Bagram. That is a hard ask because the Afghan government does have a control over the situation right now. It looks like the Taliban only has control over one region of Afghanistan as of right now. We only have 4,000 troops. We subtracted 10,000 about 1 or 2 episodes. It was 2 episodes ago. Definitely was not in the previous episode. Let's go ahead and skip through this. Let's go ahead and get this little satellite guy down to Vladivostok. Kind of study what the Russians are doing right now. And then we're going to get this guy up to North Korea. We're going to be studying what the North Koreans are doing. Alright, and our troops are now arriving in East Asia. That is going to be a massive message that we are sending to South Korea, North Korea, Japan, Russia, that the United States stands committed to its East Asian allies and its new East Asian ally, Taiwan, or the Republic of China. Let's go ahead and check. We have 18,000 troops in Taiwan. We have more on the way, so we're about to increase the amount of troops that we have in Taiwan. And let's watch as this final plane load of troops arrives, and we have 30,000 troops within Taiwan. That is a massive amount of troops that we now have in East Asia. Let's look. We have 117,000 active duty troops in South Korea. That is the largest amount of troops that we have ever deployed to any country within any series that I have ever had on this channel. So this is a massive geopolitical, diplomatic, and military move on this part of this series. We are in 2022, and this is the highest alert that the United States has been in militarily. So we again are absolutely ready for any threat from China or North Korea or even Russia if they want to do anything against our ally Japan, which I've seen them do stuff against our ally Japan. So let's go ahead and look at the newspaper, see if we can see anything on it. In Hungary, we do see that the election has come to a close. 134 seats out of 199. Jesus Christ. But the government gives us a drop in pressure. Confederation healthcare policy. Apparently my healthcare policy isn't that great. Interview with the survivor of the earthquake in Baja California. South. Campaign finance. Campaign between 2 rounds. 32% of the population is not interested in France. It looks like France is having an election. Attack in Iranian Kurdish resident Renaissance group has claimed responsibility. Apparently there was a large terrorist attack in Iran. Kurdish resistance, $32 million, $7 million in funding. We actually do not mess with them right now, but we could. There's a possibility. Let's go over here to military operations, and wow, look at the wow, that is a lot. We were not expecting that actually may or may not have raised our that actually did not raise our deficit. We are spending nearly $70 billion more on troops overseas, mainly because of the amount of troops that we just sent over to South Korea. I wish there was a cost basis that we could actually see per country. That way we can actually that would actually be a really cool option. if we actually had something like that. If we could actually have a way that we can actually look at the cost per country, that could actually help us in terms of cutting costs to other countries. Propose a peace treaty. We have a Mujahideen peace treaty that we can be offering. Afghanistan, Germany, we have 60,000 troops in Germany. Kosovo, 58,000. Japan, 79,000. South Korea, 119,000. I think we can withdraw about 10,000. About 10,000. Where is Camp Humphreys? Yeah, we can withdraw about 10,000 from South Korea. We'll send those over to Japan. Camp Zama? Is that Zama? Yeah, Zama. Camp Zama. Alright, we will send those over to Japan as a kind of like to cut costs somewhat, but also not cutting costs because we're just basically redeploying those troops. But that gives us about 80,000 troops in Japan. So let's look. So let's go to recall soldiers, and then let's go over to Japan. 90,000 troops in Japan. And then 109,000 in South Korea. But that, wow, can you imagine 100,000 troops in South Korea at one time? 100,000 American troops? That would be insane, honestly. Let's go ahead and get these submarines to start studying what them.
We are going to attack this.
Ooh, I did not want to give an attack order, but I do.
We are going to attack this country.
Oh yeah, like they know I'm in there. What are they going to do against me? They can't do anything. I'm a submarine. They would have to get a destroyer really, really close to me. Happiness declines in the United States, as if anyone's ever happy. Anti-sleep molecule. Yeah, we'll go ahead and patent that. So let's go ahead and get this little guy over here. So we actually studied this. Cruisers, and then let's go ahead and do that military base right there. 195,000 troops in that one military base. What is their maximum? They have 1.3 million active duty troops right now in North Korea. That is insane. So let's go ahead and just keep these submarines here just to study what the North Koreans are doing. We're going to keep these boats right here just in case the North Koreans ever want to act up again, and that way we are in striking distance. We're going to keep the military in this area on high alert, at least for the rest of this episode. We have about a month left before we can end this episode. 50,000 troops in Taiwan. That is crazy. Let's go ahead and go over to military operations, recall troops, and then Taiwan. 50,000 troops in total in Taiwan. That's, again, that would not fly in China. Absolutely not. But we do not care what the Chinese are going to do. We're not at all worried about what the Chinese are going to do, because they are not going to do anything right now, unless they decide to go after Taiwan. But we will be ready for them. And again, the reason that we wanted to deploy these troops to Taiwan in the first place is because we want to protect Taiwan from any external threats, and by external threats, yeah, we are absolutely talking about the Chinese. Let's go ahead and send 30 tanks over there. I wish we could name these. I wish we could name them. That would be awesome if we could. You'd also consider putting anti-missile defenses in Japan and South Korea. That would be a great idea, in my opinion, but it's going to be expensive. Alright, we are trying to make our boy Benjamin Hager a little happier, so we did increase the pay that we are giving our military. We also are going to try to get our troop count to about 1.4 million. If we could get this guy to like me a little bit more, that would actually offset the chance that he actually tries to coup me. That would be absolutely ironic if this series ended with a coup happening. The Chancellor of Germany wants to meet with me, so let's go ahead and meet with her. For some reason, she's actually still in power in 2022. She actually said that at the end of the German federal election in 2021, she would actually step down, but obviously this game does not take that into account. Hopefully that is actually taken into account. Germany actually has a negative 1.64% budget surplus. So that is interesting to see that Germany really does not have an issue with economics. Let's go over to debt, and we are about to get it under 100%. The next quarterly surplus is going to be $20 billion. Can you imagine that? It's going to be the first surplus that we actually have since the series started. Let's go ahead and get this guy to like me a little bit more. And offer...
Splendid.
No, looks like he did not want to do that. Cheer
Fine.
up. He actually likes me a little bit more. Total line.
What post would you propose for me? Of course, we are on exactly the same page.
And when are you calling me? Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I actually should have appointed him then. We have amazing relations with Mongolia. Jeez, okay. I did not know that. Let's go ahead and look. Center left. So we have a pretty similar governments, but they are parliamentary. They're actually not a dictatorship. We actually have some okay relations with the Philippines, even though they have a questionable government as of right now. We have forest fire in Ohio and forest fire in Spain and Turkey. Let's go ahead and read the newspaper again. Solar Orbiter Space Probe has been completed. And then next page, forest fire in Ohio. Secretary of Homeland Security John Jackson, referring to the Attorney General, we can say that as Kamala Harris, has a very limited set of interpersonal skills. That's kind of funny. Democratic Union Secretary General is pleased with the wit that the president has faced his problem in this country head on, and his amazing results that he has obtained thus far. That is awesome to see. And let's go over to farming, let's go over to budget, and let's go ahead and go give some money over to organic farming since we have the money for our surplus. We're just gonna do 1 star as of right now, and then we will wait to see. That actually gives us a little bit of approval. Survey, compensation. So we have compensation coming in.
In a statement sent to the press.
Springfield terrorist, that is unfortunate. Killing of tarantulas were introduced into ventilation shafts in the Department of Justice that did not bite anyone, but an officer died of heart failure according to the initial results of the investigation. It may be an act instigated by one individual, but would have required several individuals to carry out such an attack. The investigation will continue. 46,000 hectares of forest have been destroyed in that forest fire in Ohio, and we do see that we have a compensation estimated.
The population
At $7.57 billion. Let's go ahead and reimburse them $9.5 billion. That should be enough for them. And we have a meeting.
Good morning.
With the Chancellor of Germany. You want to purchase water supply networks and 12,000, 1.4. Let's go ahead and refuse this. I think that'll. And she wants to make the same a decision as me at the next G7 summit. $9.97 billion. So I think gave him 9.5. So we gave him a little bit just enough, I guess. That was a weird thing. I actually gave him a little bit less than that. And we're encroaching on the end of the month. So we should be good to go by the end of this episode. This is a pretty action-packed episode, I guess. We actually never fired a shot before the North Koreans stood down. I actually wanted to give them the chance to stand down if I could have. So that was fortunate that that did not escalate into anything more. But our it is victorious. So that is fortunate that we did not, again, that we did not have to escalate that war, and I was very ready to escalate it. You actually saw our ships were very much ready. Let's go ahead and send these guys home before the end of this episode. We're gonna go ahead and close this out.
The terrorist organization has nodded off.
That's the least you can say. But we did flood troops into East Asia, so that is great to see, because a lot of people were actually telling me in the previous episode, hey, you should do some military moves in the next one. Well, I gave you some military moves, and I don't think we're going to be stopping there, so hopefully we do have a conflict in the next episode that we can mediate and flood troops to kind of help. So I believe that's the reason why North Korea stood down, because the death stopped after a minute, and they possibly saw all my troops coming in, and they were like, ooh, yeah, we are not going to mess with this. So they stood down after they saw me flood about 50,000 more troops into South Korea. We have now over 100,000 troops on their doorstep. So and we see that we finally get to the end of the month and we pay off $30 billion of our debt. This is the first surplus of this series, so this is amazing to see that our financial steps have been paying off literally. So we pay off again $28.2 billion. We pay off $28.2 billion worth of our debt. And if we manage to settle our entire debt, that is going to be a long time from now. Probably not gonna pay off the amount of debt that we have for like 10 years. But this gets rid of, one of the best things about this is that it does get rid of our debt reimbursement. The debt reimbursement is taking up a whopping $464 billion worth of our expenses. If we can get this down to 300, 200, 100, that is $100 billion more that we can spend into things like healthcare, social security, and especially I want to flood more money into retirement pensions. If we can get more money into retirement pensions, that is going to help our cost of living. That is going to help out a lot of different things, and it's especially going to help out a lot of our senior citizens. So that is going to be the goal in the next couple of episodes, is that we are going to start trickling some money into the old pension law. So let's go ahead and look at that before we go today. 327,000 people are working for our healthcare medical staff. Exemptions, we actually can do this. We could actually create reform in the next episode. We're going to change this to total, and we're going to spend a little bit of this money into retirement pensions. So that is going to be the focus of the next episode. So if you guys like this episode, this was a very interesting episode. We're going to go ahead and go to that national holiday on July 4th, Independence Day in the United States. But if you guys like this episode, this was a very pretty amazing episode. We had the flood of 100,000 troops into East Asia. And then we had to tell the North Koreans directly to back off Otherwise, we were going to go to war. But fortunately, right now, we did not fire a single shot. We did not lose a single American troop. We did not have to send boots on the ground. That is a very fortunate aspect of our of the ending of this episode, that we did not spill any blood, except 20 Japanese unfortunately did die, and several hundred North Korean troops did lose their lives during this very short Japanese-North Korean conflict. But guys, if you guys like this, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm going to try to get another episode of this series later on this week. You guys should be seeing this possibly by Tuesday. I'm going to try to get it out Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, very likely Tuesday. Yeah, I'll probably, actually, yeah, probably Tuesday. But anyway, yeah, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and take care.